Go ahead.
My name is Dylan Gott. The guy saying go ahead is John Hastings. This week on the Wrestler Review, we're talking about Rikidozan, the guy who made up the thing we now know as Nerd Bitch Wrestling for Geeks.
That's right. Do you like it when Dave Meltzer just declares a random gigantic star rating because someone from Winnipeg wrestled someone from Osaka? Well, you know who you think? A guy I remember being much more muscular than he turned out to be. That's right. It's Rikidozan, everybody. Richard Dozan.
Full name, Rick Douglas.
Dozan. Irish Korean, they say. No.
Ooh.
My God, do you learn about how much of a motherfucker Japan was in that part of the world? Holy shit.
Oh, yeah, baby. Japan was burnt to a crisp by who, John?
Americans.
Americans, goddammit. And this week, instead of talking about Rikidozan, we're going to be celebrating that achievement.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Let's name those heroes that dropped that bomb. Dylan, I'll sing Star Spangled Banner. You name the pilots' names. That's right. We looked it up. Guess what, guys? We have money that we want to access. We are taking this podcast hard right, ladies and gentlemen.
We've joked about it. Now we're doing it.
That's right. Say goodbye to Rogan and Dylan and say hello to the backs of Steven Crowder and Milo Yiannopoulos. That's how right we're going, baby.
We're going to go so right-wing, we're going to claim that we were censored, and that's why we're not that popular, and get on Rogan, and he's going to have no idea what we're talking about because it's wrestling, but he's just going to agree with us because we said we were censored by bi people or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's right.
The non-binary wrestling community is censoring us.
Yeah.
They won't let me fucking see what they got.
Yeah, they won't let me be their world champion. What? Yeah, I'm not wrestling.
The bi world champion.
What
anyway,
the fuck?
Legit this episode, no fucking around.
Stop it. Okay.
Stop
tell me
fucking
about
around, John.
Dylan, look in my goddamn fucking eyes, you piece of shit. Tell me about
research.
Rikidozan.
I'm just guessing where your eyes are.
Tell me about Rikidozan. Go ahead.
So Richard Stephen Dozan,
thank God,
was born Kim Sim Rak in Japanese Korea. Japan had annexed Korea in 1910 and was considered part of Japan till 1945.
Wow.
On November 14th, 1924. He was the youngest son of Kim Sok-ti. So if you guys, by the way, if you are Asian in any way, my sincerest apologies. I might just
guys, we're really sorry.
Put that in. We're really sorry.
Yeah, Dylan is doing his best, and
I'm doing my best, and that's what counts.
Yeah, it's not me.
Other than that first thing I said, that wasn't my best. That was probably my worst.
Yeah, you know what? The pendulum swings on this program, and I think that saga continues.
Hey, if you're putting us on a scale of like, I'd say most podcasts, we're probably centrists, I guess, if whatever that means, but that's only balanced out by the fucked up shit we say and then our beliefs. But if you put us on wrestling podcasts, we're friggin' communists.
Oh my God,
so.
we are left of Lenin. If a wrestling podcast, we're not holding a gun to the camera.
Oh yeah, we don't
work,
just like
shoot, motherfucker, work, fucking shoot.
We don't hold. We didn't say we didn't chant anything during the Bella twins fighting each other.
Yeah, what would Vince do?
That's most people. Anyway, so when his father fell ill, he tended to him while his older brothers and mom tended to the farm. He ended up becoming a sumo wrestler.
Can I just condense all of this? I looked at the research. Rikidozan is like the second coming of athletes. Like, he is the most impressive person ever. Like, his father falls ill, saves family. Rikidozan invents type of milk that makes your dick hard and everyone your friend. Like, it's everything he touches turns to fucking gold. Go ahead. And by the way,
not really, because he's like a shit, like all pro wrestlers. He's just like a pretty okay professional athlete before he gets into wrestling.
Yeah, but he landed on his feet, baby.
Yeah, of course. But like, this guy has an 11-year career as a sumo. Now, obviously, something we have to mention is that Japanese people during this period fucking hated Koreans. So
for sure,
yeah. So he had his. So he basically received on his, like, I guess you have to, on sumo ranking sheets, you had his Korean origins were indicated, so he received constant harassment
Like
and
to put
racial
the
discrimination.
like the level of hatred directed towards Koreans in Japan. Imagine the level of hatred in Dylan's heart when he's at a wedding and it's a cash bar. That level towards Koreans in
I have some
Japan.
friends that don't talk anymore because one man mentioned the cash bar quite a bit at the other man's wedding.
Oh, phenomenal stuff! Absolutely phenomenal stuff. I'm going to need those names, by the
Just
way.
kept going gutless. Fucking
Oh my god, I gotta need
gutless.
to know. Do I know these people?
No, they're not, these are real people.
Oh,
These are real
fantastic.
people, and that was a big thing. Comedians would just be like, whatever, he's a fucking dick. Real people are like, no. Like, they have just actual... You're like, oh, well, I can't do anything. If I keep doing comedy, I just have to be friends with this guy or know him. So, anyway.
I remember mentioning to my dad going to a wedding that had a cash bar, and he didn't understand it. He was like, "Is it like a shotgun wedding?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "That doesn't make any sense to me. That's so rude." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I would not bring a gift." I was like,
But you guys are white, and we're white, so the gift would be like, he's not getting my lamp.
"Yeah, hope you miss out on this Cuisinart fucking food mixer that someone else gave me for Christmas."
Oh,
motherfucker."
yeah, buddy. The rage that some of my friends had who had British weddings and what they got, where it's like, I had my wedding in Canada and people would just give, cash gifts or whatever, and then it's like, here's a blender. Not even, and a blender would be like if it was like close family. Most British people are like, oh, good wedding. Here's
8
a
beers.
pocket square. Not
Yeah.
even 8 beers you can use.
Yeah, but it's 8 beers at one time. Here's 8 beers right now. No, I don't want. For fuck's
No, you got to
sake.
drink them now, man. They're warm.
Yeah,
They got to get warmer. They're gonna get even warmer.
yeah. Make sure the beer's real warm, and you got a lot of crackers. Go ahead. Tell me more about Rikidozan. He is a 11-year sumo. He then retires, which I always make it seems like it's a prestigious career, but I've retired from a lot of things, which means I retired from drawing. That means I'm very bad at it.
Well, he fought in 23 tournaments total. He had a win-loss record of 135 and 82. His highest rank was the third highest you could receive. He claimed racial discrimination. And the other thing I want to mention is we are told as North Americans that sumo is very, very popular in Japan. And I would posit that it's not that popular because this guy had an entire 11-year sumo career in the second highest rank, and the third highest rank, pardon me, and no one fucking knew who he was.
But it might be like hockey stars.
Oh,
You know
so
what I
he's
mean?
like in the third tier league.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's one of those things where it's like maybe in like I don't know what the fuck the Wayne Gretzky I'll recognize, but Mark Messier, unless he's in a Rangers jersey, no idea. I'll just assume he's a bald guy. You know what I mean?
I mean, come on, buddy.
No, I'm not coming on.
I recognize Mark. I recognize Joe Montana, and he plays in a helmet sport in a hotel like 100 feet away. I yelled, "That's Joe Montana!" My now wife and a guy who later was accused of sexual assault didn't recognize him, and that's when I was like, "Of course he did it. He didn't know who Joe Montana was. What kind of grown man doesn't know Joe Montana on sight? If you're our age."
I'm going to be honest. I don't like the
Yeah, and you did. If someone accuses you of something, I'm going to agree. Elder abuse, mail fraud. I'll just be like, he couldn't recognize Joe Montana. I don't know.
I don't like that
The
elder
man has a
abuse-
code.
Yeah. You have a weird thing on your code, by the way. You also your weird love of certain sports, truly mind melting.
Thing in my coat.
What?
Buttons?
No, I didn't say
Oh, in my
anything.
code. In my code.
Yeah.
You touched the code.
Yeah,
So this is the other thing is
ahead.
like Rikidozan, like obviously this shit happened in 1950. So he's a pro wrestler first and foremost. You have to remember this about Rikidozan. There is 8 different stories about absolutely everything about this fucking guy's life.
my
So
God.
several reasons are given for Rikidozan's retirement from sumo. The amount of success, of course, apparently the amount of success he had earned despite his humble beginnings was a source of envy against his seniors. Racial discrimination may have also been a factor, but the impetus for his retirement came due to a financial dispute with the stable master. Rikidozan felt that his substantial contributions to the stable made him worthy of major financial support. But the stable master considered him selfish, and he was refused after a heated argument. So they have the top knot that all sumos have. I'm not going to try and pronounce this because I don't want to get beat up, and I feel like calling it a top knot is honestly the better option right now.
Good luck.
But I have a thing open to pronounce it, but then I'll just put the microphone into my computer speaker, I guess. But he immediately just cuts off the top knot and fucks off, which is like that's your symbol to your it's a symbol to your allegiance to the stable. So he basically is like, fuck this, fuck you, I'm out of here.
What's also interesting about Rikidozan, I think, that is he's very much the first or earliest wrestler that kind of builds a legend around himself. There's 4 or 5 different versions of every story. It's clearly him inserting stuff.
No, because the George Hackenschmidt, Frank Gotch Hackenschmidt match is like 18 different stories about what actually happened, and
yeah, but also isn't there like a bunch of different legends of like him and Freddie Blassie like killing old people because their matches were so shocking on television?
So yes, this is like the first match that he had, the first major match against the Sharp twins. 20,000 people were gathered around one 27-inch television.
Oh my God!
There were several there was fainting and heart attacks because it was like the first two. It was the first like baby face comeback these people had ever seen, and they thought it was real.
The first person to come up with a hot tag when they thought wrestling was real. Holy fucking shit!
This was in rounds, and in the third round, Rikidozan just comes in and fucking Hogan's up, beats the shit out of everybody, and fucking it even like guys like Sharp, the other Sharp brother jumps in the ring. Like it's a fucking Jim Cornette would love it, or probably hate it, kind of, because although he is a left wing guy, he is like, yeah, he's racist. He'd be like, he reversed Pearl Harbored him. That's when it's fine that he did it.
Yeah, I don't like what he looks like, but that's okay because he could still vote, I guess. Like, I don't think that Jim Cornette is racist. I do think he's reluctant. You know what I mean?
I think he's racist. I think that's what that is. There's degrees of racism. When you go to get a sandwich, John, they say, how hot do you want it? They don't say hot or not. Jim Cornette is a mild racist. He's not extra spicy. I'll give you that.
Yeah, Jim Cornette's also like the ones he concentrates on are like these goddamn Polish people.
Yeah. He's like if it's like out of 5, you know, sometimes you'll see that on wing places, they have like the 5.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's like he's 2.
Yeah, exactly. He's like honey mustard. Like it's a bit there's some
honey
heat.
Mustard.
You know what I'm saying? There's some heat, but it's nothing like you're not
I
like
do not.
You do.
Honey mustard is spicy?
To me it is, yes.
Jesus Christ. That's like when I gave a girl from Manchester some fucking wings that had barbecue sauce on them, and she was like, this is too hot, and I wanted to like kill her. I was like, you shouldn't have people like this allowed anymore.
Although I do really
like eat mayonnaise, and you're like, that's
perfect.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So it's cooling my hot mouth, cooling me.
Anyway, I shouldn't shame you for your spice palate. John, you are valid.
Thank you, Dylan.
Valid, John. Dangerous, Dylan.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Justified John and Dangerous Dylan, right here at the Wrestle Review.
John.
Justified
your
John.
Track record with knowing what Joe Montana looks like is very good.
Justified John.
So he eventually left his job. Rikidozan did. He petitioned to return to sumo, but he was rejected. He was given a work as a construction supervisor, but his former patron, Shinsaku Nita. I think I got that one good.
Well done.
Nita had worked in a Tokyo prisoner of war camp during World War II. Whoa. And secretly provided American prisoners with food and cigarettes. That's nice.
Hey.
To repay him for his kindness, his former prisoners went to work at the GHQ, gave his construction company preferential treatment when contracting reconstruction work. Nita also had ties to, wait for it, the criminal underworld. And
yes.
involved with sumo in this manner. So John, it doesn't matter
I
what you want to do in life, as long as you have the mob behind you in the 50s, you're going to do it.
Yeah, that's right. You want to know how you get
The Frank
success?
Sinatra of wrestling.
Make sure that someone is connected to the mafia and the year is 1948 to 1962, and you, my
Oh,
friend, are
yeah.
about to be a success. Please do not think you're getting any royalties. That is going to a guy named Giuseppe Colombo, but you are about to do all right for a bit. And then do not
Oh,
ask
yeah.
where all the money is.
Oh, and also, like, then this is like the most mafia story you could make Rikidozan, just getting too big for your britches and then immediately getting murdered.
Yeah, exactly. Getting the old
Immediately. We got a lot of story ahead of us.
yeah, he gets the old Mean Gene's dick in the end. Blade
Yeah,
covered in
Mean
piss.
Gene in his first thrill.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Mean
that's not
Gene trying
true.
out his method.
1951,
Welcome everyone to my dream, killing someone beloved.
the Shriners of Tokyo. John, did
Go
you
on.
know that?
I did not. Are you
So they
picking up the
arranged a
farts
pro
that are
wrestling
happening
tour.
over here, by the way?
Pardon me?
Are you hearing the farts that are happening over here?
No, that's
Oh
not how
my
microphones work, John.
Oh my God. It is so loud, so viciously loud. Go ahead.
There was a landline ringing, and I couldn't hear it on the microphone.
That's
I think
amazing.
last week or the week before, like a baby boomer's landline that could be heard town over. and
Yeah, I
then
understand.
Still didn't pick it up.
The best, the best part of coming to Canada. Get ready for some landlines turned up to 9. Oh, and
Oh yeah, buddy.
that ringer's on the phone. Your ringer?
People cannot hear past 65, and they do not want to get hearing aids for some reason. Anyway, I think
by the
hearing
way,
aids are needed all over the world now.
here's by the way how you can identify millennial versus Generation X. If your phone ringer is ever on, you're Gen X or above. That's how you
Oh, yeah.
indicate. Millennials down, phone ringer off. That's how you fucking know.
So Rikidozan sees the Shriners Club's wrestling, and this is what makes him want to become a professional wrestler. And he eventually gets into pro wrestling, being trained.
His wrestling origin story is basically what Bobby Heenan says the Ultimate Warrior did, which is like he worked out and then walked outside and saw a truck that said WWF on the side of it. And he's like, I do that. There we go.
I don't know. I think it was like he did construction and then basically knew dudes in the mob from sumo, and then was like talked to his mob dudes like, hey, I'd like to do that, and the mob was like, they don't have that here yet. Let's go. And then that's what happened.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's like, yo, can we launder money through this thing you want to do? And he's like, I mean, I guess. And they're like, that's cool because we are already definitely doing that. Thank you.
Sorry, we built a ring around you while you were talking. You better start wrestling.
Yeah. Hey, did you know that you can hide a lot of drugs inside the wrestling poles of this wrestling business? What? Yeah, do not, whatever you do not do your books.
But this is a thing where it's like if you like ask someone, hey, can I get into pro wrestling? There's half a chance that they'll fight you and half a chance that they'll just let you in the business. And the half a chance is increased quite a bit if you're an actual like ranked fighter in a sport, which Rikidozan was.
It is such an interesting sort of portrait because I really came into the Rikidozan episode with sort of the legend behind him before looking at basically he was just a sumo wrestler who knew the mob, and then they were like, a machine to build money or launder our money. Let's go.
Construction is a very important midway point.
Such a great point. And may I say,
construction, you
universal, fucking versal, scumbag fucking profession. Anyone who shits in a bucket, you're crime adjacent. You're at the very least know someone growing pot in a closet.
I mean, man, if you do construction, like you show up sober 5 days in a row, congratulations, you own a construction company.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, you're not actively doing blow? Oh, my God, you are a supervisor today.
Yeah, I think I worked like 5 days of construction, and one guy was talking about, one of the guys who I was working with was saying he saw a report, and it was like a special report on the news, and they were talking about the pandemic that was happening in construction of 70% of people are addicts. He's like, that's honestly way too low. I'd say if you're just to work there, it's 100% you're an addict. Because he was like, because either you used to do a lot of drugs and now you smoke cigarettes, so you're an addict, or like best case scenario, you smoke 2 packs a day.
Yeah, the amount of people. Like I remember when my mom had the basement done of our house, and the amount of just smoking that happened while that was being built. Because like pre 2002, smoking still very much inside.
Oh yeah.
Well, my God, what a paradise!
So
No
Rikidozan
rules.
gets linked up and he goes to NWA San Francisco because San Francisco, even at that time, had a very large Asian contingent,
Oh,
so they
jeez.
book him as a babyface.
And it's very much he then basically uses this period of time to learn American wrestling and basically imports American wrestling back to Japan, a la basically the Beatles bringing Elvis back over to Britain and then re-importing rock and roll back to America is basically what Ricky Dozan does.
Oh, so this is very important. From September 30th to December 11th, there was a 12-date tour where this was Joe, and now I'm going to fuck this guy's name up.
Here we go.
So his name is Joe, and he's from San Francisco. Joe Malasevitz. Let's do it. He secured a deal with another guy, and they sent 6 wrestlers, basically people who were positioned from the military around, and Rikidozan was one of them, and those was his introduction to professional wrestling. Was these, and they didn't have professional wrestling in Japan for another 4 years.
It's wild. It is wild how deeply rooted in their culture it is for how really new it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
well, it's
in
like baseball, right? Like Japanese baseball, which everyone was like starting to like. Because like people were so starved for sports, like Japan, they're playing baseball. Maybe we'll just fight, like during the heat of the pandemic.
oh, of course. Do
But
you remember the
yeah,
conversation we were having about the XFL right before the pandemic started? Holy shit, did the XFL seem like a good idea? January 2020.
I think it
Holy.
still is. I think The Rock is the perfect guy to take it over. I think it'll be very popular.
Oh, yeah, it's coming back a third time. Is that correct?
Of course it is. Also, I will say this: it's probably like they'll just get the actual dude who Rudy was based on to play in a game and make it so that he scores a touchdown.
Oh, my God, Al Mike.
You know what I mean?
If Frank Gifford's not been cremated, his body is being brought onto a field.
So Bobby Burns and Al
OJ Simpson will be a coach. Go ahead.
OJ Simpson will, yes. No, I mean, no, because that's what the Rock's brand is, silly fun. Never forget that. Mark Wahlberg will be a coach.
100%.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg. You know what they'll do? They'll take every celebrity who is in like a successful feel-good sports movie, and they'll just be like the unofficial owners or like presidents of the team.
Charlie from Mighty Ducks is a running back.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Keenan Thompson will 100% be the owner of a team. Anyway, Rikidozan, February of 1952, left Japan, and this was after the Japanese heavyweight title was just created, and Rikidozan would wear it in publicity photos. So, like the strategy was already
NWA
there.
had more titles than AEW, but yes, no, completely. The strategy is already there. Go ahead, Dylan.
So he comes over, and as I mentioned, he wrestles in the States. He wrestles in Honolulu.
Oh,
Since there were a lot of Japanese descendants in San Francisco, of course, the promoter booked him as a babyface there, which I'm sure was ingenious for the time. Like, oh, wait, a foreign babyface. Well,
what?
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I assume you want to use the building to be destroyed by the crowd. You want? Wait, you think that they're going to cheat? What do you mean, not white people? You want no one in the seats? What are you talking about? But
This is the interesting thing. Thez wins 2 straight falls with a reverse slam, and the newspaper mistakenly calls it a pile driver in 23:10, with the second being on the backdrop in an amazing 20 seconds. So he gets to go over Rikidozan really solidly. That is very important for later. Thez would later say the promoter tried to poison him against Rikidozan as he saw that Japan as a potential market and wanted to destroy him before he realized ambitions of founding a Japanese promotion. However, when Lou met Rikidozan, he knew he was smart, and the promoter was full of it. So, once again, Rikidozan making powerful friends. It's hard not to be friends with a guy who's like, hey, this guy's linked up with the mafia in this whole country. And you're like, well, maybe.
yeah.
Maybe I should.
This guy is someone who wants to be your friend. By the way, if you're not his friend, his friends are going to kill your fucking family. I want to be that guy's friend, actually. Okay, great.
Ricky made his own dojo. Nihon Puroso Kyokai, or in English, Japan Pro Wrestling Association. The Japan Pro Wrestling promotion was set up by Rikidozan at the same time as the JWA. However, Rikidozan was still unable to do any business to prepare for their first tour, and it was Sato Nagata, one of the most powerful entertainment promoters in Japan, and Hirotaka Hayashi, who ran the company. Saito was the booker and top wrestler. Rikidozan had aimed to set the business up to bring American professional wrestlers to perform ever since his first tour of Japan. It's speculated that although Ricky put up a significant amount of money, he wouldn't have had enough money to fund the entire endeavor, and Nagata and Hayashi invested, as well as Shinsaku Nita. The JWA was a holding or parent company, and the Japanese Pro Wrestling Promotion Company dealt with the actual expenses of day-to-day operations. So this is all him building to having this match because, once again, it's the 50s. It's the early 50s. We're sitting in 1953 right now. They really, really, really want to be like, we need to be the first thing on television where basically a Japanese person just beats the living shit out of an American man.
And let me say what a winning formula that turned out to be. What is also, I thought, is this coming up on also his like basically brilliance of the TV deal he worked out? Because isn't that like the base, like the big falling out between one of the many things that fell out between Inoki and Baba, way jumping ahead, is something to do with the TV deal, or is that's building up as well? So we're not there yet.
No, well, here's what's happening. Learning the importance of TV in America, Rikidozan persuaded Matsumoto Shiroki, the president of Nippon Television Network Corporation, to televise the first card throughout Japan. That is a crazy sentence, because that is just like, that is basically like Rikidozan learns that TV is good, and then walks up to a guy who's the president of the corporation and goes, I want this, and the guy goes, sure. I'm sure it was not that. Like, that's not how that happened.
But sometimes it's like if you were of a certain age at certain times in history, that's just how you got a job. How'd you get that job?
It's true.
I walked through a door that was open, and now I am a billionaire.
That's true.
All right.
Anyway, legit. So this was what happens. Working through the booking office of Joe Malashevitz, as I mentioned, and Al Karasik, Rikidozan invited Ben and Mike Sharp to
Oh, my God. Not the Sharp brothers again.
Well, this is the first time.
Thank God they don't have metal detectors.
Oh, yeah. Mike Sharp,
they're too sharp.
Iron Mike Sharp. Regardless of the cost, he appreciates their value as a tag team. Rikidozan selected Matsuhiko Kimura, who is a famous judoka at the time. He famously beat the Elder Gracie in a invitational and broke his arm. And then they were like, we're going to call this the Kimura lock. And Kimura was like, whatever, you little bitch. I fucking fucked your arm up. Crazy. Nuts on
don't
your chin, dog.
Don't name it after me. He also invented saying nuts on your chin, dog. Yo, if my nuts are on your chin, where's my dick, bitch?
Ooh, ha ha ha. But also, it's like, you know how crazy it is to lose a fight to someone and then be like, I'm going to call that the super punch. And it's like, I just beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I get to pick your name now.
Stop trying to fucking brand everything, man. You know how
Ooh, that was a good universe hole.
Do you know how annoying the fucking Gracie family must be? Like, they must be the fucking
and they could
biggest.
All beat the shit out of us.
Oh my God, they could beat the shit out of all of us.
Shit out of us.
And that's imagine like O'Doyle's if they had fucking confidence. That's the Gracie family. Like, hey, I just want to let you know that I fucking pissed in your mouth while you were sleeping. That's what they all sound like to me. If I think
like
they were talking.
all weird martial arts things, it's like the original like black belts in America were all actors because they just went to where the most full of themselves people are.
Yeah.
Like, Ed O'Neill from Married with Children can like kick the fucking shit out of both of us. He's like a 900-time black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And also, I assume Ed O'Neill just has a rage inside of him because he has just way too much money at this point. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just like...
Oh, yeah, he was on like a second sitcom that just was on for 50 years.
Yeah, he was on 2 sitcoms that were both on for 15 years.
And he was on the rebooted Dragnet, I remember.
I gotta tell you,
Why
that
would they do this?
reboot of Dragnet ruled.
I really thought you were going to say, what? Rebooted Dragnet? But you were like, I'm right here for you. Trust game.
I have seen it. I loved it.
His tag partner was Kimura. Apparently, Kimura was very hard to deal with. He's said to have asked for more money up until the very last moment.
Oh, it's also reported here that Kimura felt that The Undertaker did the Kimura lock better than anyone else.
Yeah, it was also, the Kimura, he was said to have said it's actually his yard when Mark Calloway was born.
Oh, good. Someone else can replace my yard now that I, Mr.
God, I can die in peace.
Yeah, this yard is closed because it's his now. My yard.
I was trapped for thousands of years on this mortal plane because it was always my yard. Now it's one man's yard.
Yeah, exactly. And that man is very tall and guaranteed very annoying.
Guaranteed he orders things from Manscaped just to break them because he loves full bush.
Oh, absolutely. Does it in front of his children.
Gotta hide my dick from my wife, otherwise
Hey.
I'm sucking it. This is my yard.
I just want to let all my kids know that my wife's got a full bush. Kids, your mom's got a full bush. Mark Calloway.
To make up for the shortage of wrestlers in Japan, some members of Tiyosho Namaguchi's group and a few U.S. soldiers of the occupational army were occasionally used. So this is like
insane.
A lot like, this is a lot like the first Pride event.
Go ahead.
First Pride FC, Pride Fighting Championships in Japan, was just filled out with some pro wrestling matches because they didn't have enough people to fight.
Oh, that's right. And and much like Rikidozan's operation, as it turned out, very much operated by the Yakuza.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wasn't Pride like sold to the UFC? And then they're like, do we own all this? And it's like, no, that's Dream.
It's
Fighting.
Saki Ibara. I forget the guy's first name, but Saki Ibara basically has been caught 3 times with just being like so close to the Yakuza, and then Nippon Television, still the same guys were like, come on, no, man, fuck off, man, no.
bro.
Hide it.
Come on, man. Dude. Fuck.
It's kind of like a guy getting caught for steroids in baseball where you're like, we knew, but you just gotta hide it better, you fucking asshole.
A-Rod. Stop with the fucking painting of yourself.
Oh, that was dope.
Oh my God, being a unicorn? Fuck yeah. Centaur, is that correct?
Here's what made me fucking pissed. It was him as a centaur, and here's what makes me fucking pissed. I watched one episode of Shark Tank, and A-Rod, they're like, because they always tell about how they got all their money, and they say A-Rod, they're basically like, oh, here's the investments he did. Oh, you don't mention that $250 million he made from cheating at baseball?
Of course not. It's also like Jeff Foxworthy. They never mention he's a stand-up comedian. They're just... He's one of the world's best entertainers. It's like that guy has millions of dollars because of a portion of America is like, tell me if I'm a redneck. You might be.
Well, and also like something else about Jeff Foxworthy, where a very clean comedian literally has a 10-minute bit on the just observations about drinking and driving and how sweet it is.
Yeah, man, that's clean.
It's clean, man. I'm drinking.
I'm gonna say this about America. It's the best to be a comedian in America. It is the best.
You just go there. You tell
people agree with you no matter what. You could take any side. I have a bit that about how I say it's time for the Civil War. I'm done waiting. Let's just do it. Oh, I said we meet somewhere, and the amount people are just like, this guy gets it. You're like, oh, this is probably the bad side to take, actually.
Because everyone's like, yeah, man, let's get a war going on. Good for you, John.
Thank you very much. I am a freedom fighter. You know this is a freedom fighter, Dylan?
Rikidozan.
That's right.
At this time, this is the brilliance of Rikidozan. He was... Television's emerging in Japan. Very few had the luxury in their homes. Remember, this is Tokyo is like a wooden city, and they firebombed it. So before, that was the thing about the bombs, about the A-bomb, was the A-bomb by itself, I don't know if you guys know this, bad.
What?
Yeah. But also wood
whoa, communist.
Oh,
all right,
sorry.
Bernie Sanders. Jesus fucking Christ. Go on again about this nuclear bomb being bad?
Spermy Sanders.
Well, thank you very much for finally proving you read my emails.
That's my new wrestling character. I'm Bernie Sanders, but I angrily drink just a fucking liter.
We need to tax the rich.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
I'm so thirsty, and all I have is cum.
We need to make sure that insulin is capped. My mouth is dry, and for some reason, all I have is this lukewarm cum.
Extra hot cum. No, he's had it for. All I have is this cum that's been
Oh, there's a film over top of it. Oh,
Everyone loves cum skin. Anyway,
it's like an old oyster.
Nippon Television set up 220 giant
Go on.
TV screens in open spaces in Tokyo and other spots near the capital. Countless numbers of people gathered to watch the initial wrestling card, while others flocked to electrical stores or restaurants equipped with TV sets. So it's
basically
thing.
it's like out of every movie of a certain era where people just gather around department stores with the TVs facing out. God, I wanted to experience that once in my life. Never have.
I did in the Edinburgh Festival in whatever year Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather. Me and random people just watched on this dude's phone.
What am I talking about? I watched Conor McGregor break his leg in that last fight by just watching on a TV in front of a business. What am I talking about?
Oh,
I've, of course, been a
yeah.
part
And
of it.
David Hay, Tony Bellew, I watched in some fucking patio, too, that some guy was... I mean...
Yeah,
UK was always
absolutely.
good
What
for
am
fights.
Oh my God, yeah. The UK, you know what they love? They love what are those two people doing? They're not hugging. That's what I'll tell you that for goddamn sure.
They're thugging, bro.
You can use that, Dylan.
I am using it. The Brothers Sharp did an excellent job of introducing the American style to the Japanese audience, and
The
Nippon
Brothers
Support
Sharp. Go
made
ahead.
that must have been so fucking awesome to be a wrestler back then.
Oh
It's
my
like
God,
you shake your opponent's hand, you're like, I don't care for this gentleman, and everyone's like, let's rip his fucking head off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to be.
Imagine the first guy who used a sunset flip, I assume in Japan, witness people that immediately die from trying to suck their own dicks out of joy. I've never not loved life now.
That's the fucking crazy thing. It's like, you know, we talk about Mr.
Not
Jim
sucking
Cornette,
our own dicks? Yeah,
but,
he
like-
cannot suck his own dick out of joy, and guarantee that happened that time.
pretending that wrestling is a 1-to-1 comparison is fucking insane. Like, this is like this era, the 50s, you just show up and you just like, he shook his hand, and yeah, he was nice, but he didn't use a coaster. That's why he's the heel.
I asked him I asked him for a cigarette, and he gave me a Camel. As we all know, I prefer Pall Mall. He should have had my preferred cigarette. And that would be a 3-year feud.
I had to ask for a lighter.
Yeah.
He didn't
What the
just
hell
offer me a lighter. He said, do you need a light? He did that thing where he goes, do you want me to smoke it for you too?
Yeah.
That would be a 9-year feud. If he said,
No,
do you want me to smoke it for you too? Be that fucking cunt. If you fucking ever done that to someone,
Are you aware
blow
that
your
Bruno
fucking brains out.
yeah.
That's honestly, I just remembered how much I hated that. Like, I'm sorry that I didn't come up to you with everything but a cigarette. Like, if you honestly, I preferred it less when people didn't have lighters, because it was like, I preferred it more because when people had lighters, it was like, oh, you just been walking around mooching off everybody, you piece of shit.
That's
Someone
right.
didn't have a lighter, it's like, I guess they broke. All right. Good.
Yeah. I remember the time I quit smoking and I handed almost full pack of cigarettes to a guy on the street in Toronto and then didn't smoke for a month. That guy's face, absolute joy. I've never seen anything like it. That guy turned him right around.
That's the crazy thing. Sandwich on the ground, disgusting. Full pack of cigarettes on the ground, you just find?
Dylan, it's the closest I've ever come to smoking again. In Edinburgh, the first day I was walking, came upon a full pack of cigarettes just on the ground, and I was like,
crazy.
time to start smoking again, is my first thought.
Less than a month after the first card, Bobby Burns did a newspaper interview. Rikidozan referred to Rikidozan as the founder of Japanese professional wrestling, a name which stuck years ahead. Ricky's son, Matsu Momoda, recalled that though there were vacancies in attendance in the first night of the tour, as a result of appearing on television, the second night was a complete sellout. Burns went on to say, I've never seen anything like it. Our matches flopped during our first trip largely because we were mixed up with other entertainment, including exhibitions by Joe Louis that the fans refused to buy. But we proved on an immediate success this time. The Sharps were a sensation, and we turned thousands away from the gate at every show. We had the sumo crowd tearing their hair out, and boy, were they glad to see us go.
It is so fascinating how literally little wrestling manipulations just grow. I just assumed that he was like the actual, like, Rikidozan founded wrestling in Japan, believing that sort of title is like, of course, he was just part of a whole operation and structure to create a wrestling market in fucking Japan. John, you idiot. Why would you ever believe in wrestlers? Go ahead, Dylan.
It's like just I honestly think anyone should watch that Sharps versus Rikidozan match because it's like, this is, of course, you'd love wrestling if this was what wrestling was, because people go fucking crazy because they think it's like, put yourself in the position where it's like, it's a tag team. These guys are huge. They are so much
Yeah.
bigger than the Japanese wrestlers. They're cheating.
Oh my God, yeah.
And already, like, they're like in your face assholes who've already like
From
destroyed
America. They're
well,
from the
destroyed
country.
your whole fucking country, and they're
Yeah.
winning again. And then he fucking comes back and he just karate chops them, which is hilarious. He just fucking goes fucking this to the fucking head, dog. Fuck you. Full karate chop. Like, I don't understand. Like, Ric Flair chops that make a big sound. Whatever. We got to go back to straight up fucking karate chopping people in the neck and pro wrestling.
I absolutely
just fucking
agree
like
with you.
go.
I could
fucking
not.
dead,
I can't.
bitch.
I cannot agree with you more.
Fuck you.
Best part of the James Bond series is the series of Roger Moore movies where he, for no reason, karate chops people.
Because he's a fucking secret agent, and that's a sickest art form.
Exactly. If you fucking karate chop someone in the nerve cluster of the neck, you're fucking down. Everyone knows that, Dylan.
Karate chop, kick, end of fucking story. Which
Yeah,
reminds me of the guy I'm making in WWE 2K22. I'm very excited for.
How is that? What's his name?
Count Chugula. He's a vampire that loves to fuck. He got kicked out of fucking other vampires because other vampires wanted to like suck blood. He's like, I don't suck nothing because he's fucking homophobic too, I guess. No, I'm saying that. I'm not editing that
Well,
out. That's what his shirt says. I don't suck nothing. And they're like, sir, you need to suck on this to live. And he's like, I'll die then.
Would you like to know
Kill
something that
vampires.
I did
Sorry, what?
when I was laid up with my arm injury to pass time, because I would just sometimes have to lay down while my whole body was in a knot, is I would watch people's custom entrances on like the most recent WWE 2K thing. So many people were different versions of CM Punk, and so many of them were bad. Oh, it's so good. YouTube is full of just people's bad versions of 2K entrances. Please run, don't walk.
Oh man, I gotta pee, so we're gonna take an impromptu break. But dude, the fucking CM Punk, the greatest thing, that happened to wrestling video games is that you can just download other people's good created players. Because I used to be on
100%.
websites where it's like you had to go space by space, and someone would be like, "Here's how you make CM Punk's Pepsi tattoo," and I'm not proud to say that I actually just like.
No.
I did it, and they looked good. Anyway, I'm going to pee, so this is the break time. Usually we just take a break at a random point now because we just kind of talk through, but I'm going to pee now, and the shows might get noticeably worse. We're back from my pee.
Oh, yeah. And I'm drinking it.
I peed and I mailed it. We had to wait for him to get the pee package.
Yeah, exactly. The double P.
So, John,
Yes, Dylan.
pro wrestling is a sensation in Japan. What happens?
Rikidozan continues to exist, and he's totally fine, and in no way does he piss off any
there's
sort of group that ends up stabbing him with a piss blade.
There's like 9 guys who basically make this shit happen, and this is of course what happens. Is after the initial success, Rikidozan became the promoter because he wanted to monopolize profits.
Of course.
And cut out Nagata, Hirotaka, Hayashi, and Nita. Bobby Burns became his booker. Al Karasik attempted an invasion after making significant money booking the Sharp brothers there, but was repelled. So basically, you get the Sharp brothers. Couple rematches. Rikidozan beats them, but Rikidozan is Rikidozan, so he has the most important thing in Japanese wrestling, which is Rikidozan. So this is going to be, that is a hilarious time to take a break.
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
Can I just say this about Rikidozan? This will give us a little bit more time, and is a point I want to make.
Sure, make a point. I'm going to end the episode now. After you make a point.
Oh, sorry. My point is this. Rikidozan absolutely is the greatest legend builder I've ever seen in professional wrestling. Coming into this episode, I just assumed he was like a great noble man who was just like, we fight, but it's pretend. And everyone was like, get that genius $1 million billion. And then you're just like, no, he's a carny fuck like everyone else.
And the
And he
ultimate
just
insult,
fucking-
he's fucking Korean.
Whoa, Dylan. Of
Do you know
course.
what I mean, though?
Yes,
John?
Dylan. I know.
We
I know
stopped
how.
recording, right? We stopped recording, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Dylan is very much into Japanese style
Mm,
fascism.
I am here for the Emperor, and the Bushido Code will never be. I just listened to like a 90-hour Dan Carlin thing about this, so I'm gonna be saying a lot of shit. Anyway, no, but then like obviously like all
Also,
fucking
but immediately
territorial.
go pro wrestling immediately as soon as he could. Who's he gonna? How did Rikidozan get in control? Well, he just screwed everyone else first. Welcome to wrestling, as usual.
Oh, I mean, but like, yeah, he fucked everyone over harder because they
I love
probably
wrestling.
had
for that.
worse mob ties than him.
That's why wrestling's the best.
Yeah.
Why is
Well,
that?
I mean,
why
that's
is-
every business, though. Every business, someone just like.
I know,
tries
but
to fuck.
wrestling is especially like. Why? How's that
That's
guy in
true.
control? Well, he fucked over everybody else. Why? I mean, because so he can be in control. I thought, like, aren't you paying attention?
And also, like, wrestling's the easiest thing to do that in because, like, we basically, like, once again, the only reason Vince McMahon is not the head of WWE anymore is because he fucked with company money. The things
Yeah.
that he did, no one cares about.
Yeah.
No one
The
cares
SEC
about the
is not
salon
inve-
thing. No one
Yeah,
cares
no-
about Jimmy Snuka's wife. No one cares about anything.
the ring
No one
boy
cares about
scandal.
Benoit. No one cares about Owen Hart. No one cares about any of it. You took money and used it
Didn't-
to pay off your own personal poo.
We weren't
ranch.
able to tax money. How dare you?
Yeah.
Weight of the U.S. government comes down on you.
Yeah.
I have been hot farting the entire time since we came
Oh,
back from that
yeah.
quick break. And I want everyone to know it is a weird sensation. The back of my legs are so warm from fart.
You probably has to. You're gonna have to for sure wipe your ass without shitting
It's not
because
those
you have
kind
such
of.
wet farts that you're gonna have to wipe your ass.
These are
There's
not
gonna be a
wet
lot of
farts.
poop.
These are like very
I
dry.
guarantee you have so much poop in your ass.
Oh, there's a lot of poop up in my ass for sure from
Have
flying.
you ever had white underpants, John, as an adult?
Yes.
Not me. They lasted one day and I burn them.
Full black asshole by the end.
Tar. Just full. The tar the dinosaurs died in coming out of my ass.
Oh my God. We leave the episode there. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week with the absolute thrilling conclusion of Rikidozan's career.
I don't
and
know if
life.
it is because this says, John, once again, Christopher Hobson has outdone himself and read a book that is in Japanese.
I want to just give
This is like
Christopher Hobson's
legitimately.
wife. I think we
We're
need
fucking
to get,
losers.
yeah, we
We're
need to get
fucking
more,
losers. Sorry, go for it.
more patrons so that we can afford to just buy Christopher Hobson's wife a house where she can sit in and go, it's worth it, I guess, for fuck's sake.
I mean, the view is nice, but I wish, Christ. But like,
Yeah.
this is the other thing. Is,
I go ahead.
this is the other thing is, once again, like when we first started this, unfortunately, we're going to be like the authority on Rikidozan as far as a American
Oh no.
podcast because there's no. This is half the reason we're doing this. There's no fucking. You know what? You know, if you want to find sources on Rikidozan, there's a bunch of 10-minute YouTube videos, and I swear to God, the longest one is David Lee Roth, and David Lee
Yes,
Roth
it is. How
has
much
a
of that
very
did you watch?
good one.
Yeah.
I watched the whole
Holy
one.
shit. David
I
Lee
love
Roth,
I love history where it's like you capture more of a biography, but like more of a moment in time. And David Lee Roth totally does that in his
Absolutely.
Ballad of Rikidozan. A great story about the first match,
Have you
the
also seen-
Sharps match.
you do know that David Lee Roth has a podcast. There's one of the most insane things I've ever listened to in my life.
Yeah, because he doesn't need to do it. He just fucking.
Oh my God. There's an
I'm
episode
gonna attack and you edit it in. Also, looking at David Lee Roth now, it's insane to think like he fucked so much.
Still does. I guarantee David Lee Roth is totally having sex with a lot of age appropriate swinger ladies.
He looks so old, and like
Yeah.
he looks like, you know, when you age to the point you're genderless. He looks that.
And
He's just like
exactly. I know exactly what you mean.
the
He just looks
original
like he should be-
non-binary. Just
he looks like he should
fucking-
just be walking down a dock, just
Yeah,
telling absolutely horrendous jokes.
just a bunch of beige robes. That's all he wears.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Anyway,
Black coffee, tuna sandwiches.
we're not going to do best and worst because it was the 50s, and also like we're also
Here's the best
dealing
thing
with
about
some Japanese
Rikidozan,
versus
he-
Korean things that I'm not completely comfortable
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
about.
Yeah, the best thing about Rikidozan, he knew the Yakuza. Worst thing about Rikidozan, he couldn't dodge a blade cover and piss. See you in hell. Goodbye.
No, that's, I mean, you just ruined the whole fucking end of the goddamn story, you piece of shit.
Yeah, that's right, everyone. Guess what? Welcome to the Sixth Sense. Guess what? He's dead. Enjoy the acting.
It's crazy that Rikidozan will be like, you know how like Simon Liu will play Rikidozan or something and have a great, he'll win an Oscar.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is a made-for movies story of like young man
Oh my God!
deals
Why
with
haven't they made this
racism,
movie
gets
yet?
to the top, gets cocky, dead now. Like,
This movie should have been made in the early '90s. This is such an early '90s sports movie.
and then we get to the fucking Kimura shit next week. That'll be great. I think it'll be 3 or 4-parter. I have no idea. But anyway, this is Rikidozan Part 1. Thank you guys so much for listening. Join us on Twitter,
Patreon.
Instagram, Patreon, at Wrestler Review on every single social media site, patreon.com/Wrestler Review. Join me and John at Dylan Gott on every social media site and at the John
Yeah.
Hastings on every social media site.
Yeah.
Join me on YouTube, youtube.com/C for some reason, /Dylan Gott. And join me and John in saying goodbye to you.
Goodbye, you.